What if Derek Chauvin's defense that the way that he treated George Floyd in the process of killing him was just part of his training? What if that was true? Wouldn't that even be more horrible? Debbie Hines drops by to update us on the Chauvin trial. Check it out, leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Let's check in with Debbie Hines and find out what's going on in the Chauvin trial today. Debbie, trial lawyer, political commentator, former prosecutor, the Assistant Attorney General of Maryland early in her career. IamDebbieHines.com is both her .com is her website, and IamDebbieHines is her Twitter handle. Debbie, welcome back. What happened today?
Thank you. So I think today we're actually starting to see where the prosecution is going. And what we're seeing is that they are putting on all of these police officer, Minneapolis police officer witnesses to testify that, Chauvin used unreasonable force. He wasn't trained to use that neck restraint that he used. One of the witnesses even said, they never even saw that maneuver that he used with Mr. Floyd's neck being held down with Chauvin's knee for 9 minutes, and that Chauvin had a duty to de-escalate the situation. Obviously, it was under control within a matter of a couple of seconds, so to speak, or at the very longest, a couple of minutes, and that he had a duty as a police officer to regard the sanctity of life. So we're seeing not just previously Lieutenant Zimmerman, the oldest serving police officer currently in the Minneapolis police force, to the police chief yesterday, to the trainers, the 2 trainers today, and another officer who said, yes, and we do training, so he cannot blame it on the police force. So they're just really building a very compelling case so far on the use of unreasonable force, which is what they have to, which is one of the aspects that they have to show.
So in the spirit of the notion that all they need is one wackadoodle juror to, to blow this case up with a hung jury, as I believe you explained to us yesterday, are the outlines of the defense becoming clear as a result of the cross-examination of the prosecution witnesses? And do we know when the defense is going to begin their case and who their witnesses are going to be, where they're going to go?
We don't know when the defense is going to present their case. The court, the judge, is keeping everything under wraps with that, and that's a very good sign, because there's no reason for the witnesses on either side to be bombarded with the media and the press with questions before they testify. So we're not going to know when the defense is going to start and who the defense witnesses are going to be. And that has been the ruling throughout, just to keep some order and to hopefully not have a mistrial, because you can also have a mistrial in that way. But the defense is, they're harping on the things they've harped on before, that the crowd was a distraction, which has been refuted by the prosecution, and the police officer is supposed to be able to, work with the crowd, and obviously this crowd was not a distraction. But they keep showing they keep showing a picture, the photo, the video, to show that there are different angles in the photo that would tend to suggest that Chauvin's knee was not on Mr. Floyd's neck, but was on his shoulder. That's some red herring that they're coming up with. It's not going to probably fly, because we've already had the witnesses who were there. And everybody knows that if you take enough selfies, you can get the best possible look for yourself that you want. May not be what you look like in real life. So that's all that they're trying to really do, is show that. But I think that, and then the other thing they're working on is the totality of the circumstances, that yes, these are the policies, but things can change. Things can change on a moment's notice when you're policing, and I don't see that going anywhere. I think that their biggest shot, which is yet to come, is really dealing with the issue of causation, and that was sort of touched on today, because they really want the witness that was in Mr. Floyd's car, who is an individual that the girl could have testified had given them drugs previously. They really want that person to testify as to what was Mr. Floyd's condition when he went back into the car, and to get into the whole issue of, drug dealing.
Debbie Hines, we have about a minute and a half left. Tell us what happened with this guy who was in the car with George Floyd. I think he's been kind of characterized as basically a local drug dealer, if I'm recalling that correctly.
Right, and you know, Courtney Voss, who's George Floyd's girlfriend, I mean, she did testify about him, and they've already brought that out, that, you know, they did use drugs together, they tried to get over their opioid addiction, and sometimes they purchased drugs from this individual who just happened to be in the car on May 25th, 2020, with George Floyd. But that's just really on the defensive part to try to get in the whole concept that Mr. Floyd did not die because he was held down with the knee, full weight of someone's knee on his neck for over 9 minutes, but it had something to do with the drugs, and the drugs in his system caused the heart attack. So at the end of the day, the witness that the defense would like to call is going to, his attorney has said he's going to take the Fifth Amendment because he sees where this thing is going to, that they're going to try to blame George Floyd's death on him. As a
Right. So was he successful in requesting immunity?
Well, he doesn't get immunity. He just gets, because the prosecution doesn't want him. He doesn't get immunity. He's just saying he's going to take the Fifth, meaning you can ask me everything you want to ask me. I'm going to give you my name and my address and end it there.
I thought they were arguing for immunity. I must have misunderstood. Debbie Hines,
Well, he may have been.
Yeah, okay. I so appreciate your perspective and your experience on this and your willingness to come on and share with us. Thank you so much for these updates.
Thank you.
Debbie, great speaking with you. Debbie Hines, IamDebbieHines.com. I am Debbie Hines on Twitter.